welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Brew.
Yes, Unfiltered Brew. You just never know what's going to come out of our mouths, do you?
I'm Deb Miles. Kim Becker of Hello Gorgeous. I am just of a little radio station here near South Bend, Indiana.
So I have to share with you something, though, that I don't know that you know. So do you know we were talking a little bit about like your past work experiences and this and that?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know that when I was 18 years old, I got to be the semi-DJ of the week?
Really? At the station I was at?
At the station you were at. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
So I wrote a letter when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was no text messages.
Yeah. That's
no
when you
emails.
wrote letters.
You actually
mailed them. You had to get a stamp and mail them.
That's right. You had to ask your mom for a stamp because at 16.
For some reason, children could not have stamps.
No.
Parents would only buy the stamp book.
That's right. Exactly right. And you had to lick them back then. Do you remember that?
Right. Can't do that now. You don't know what'll happen.
You might get a disease. You don't know. So, So anyways, you had to buy the stamp, handwrite the letter with our Bic pen, the clear barrel Bic pens. Yeah. Remember those from the 80s? I know, me too. So you write the letter, and then of course you write the letter, and then you pay, impatiently wait for them to call you. Well, 2 years later, by that point in time, I forgot. And so you had to write like why you wanted to be semi-DJ of the week. And I wrote whatever it was that I wrote. But the main reason that I wanted to write was I wanted to see what the DJ looked like. And that's what I wrote in there, was that I wanted to see what he looked like. And that's why they picked it.
Let me give you a little insight into those contests. They open the mail. They'll look at them. They laugh at a few of them.
I'm sure.
And others, they'll say, oh, this guy, scary.
Yeah.
So yours was probably right in the middle.
It probably was.
It wasn't goofy and it wasn't scary. So they thought, she sounds like a nice girl.
I'm thinking that they probably had to wait until I was 18 in case he wanted to ask me out.
Oh, well, I don't. Again, in this business, back then, there was a lot of sketchy stuff going on.
But it was very cool because I remember I was in beauty school at the time. So, 18, 19. And they made a big announcement. We had the radio station on over the, the loudspeaker and stuff. And they would announce that I was coming on the air, listen tonight for the semi-DJ of the week and blah, 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 blah. And they would announce me. And so I went in and I got to be on the air for a whole hour. And so I think back to that like 40 years ago.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And here I am with you on a regular basis with our podcast, Unfiltered Brew. So,
which is kind of like being a semi-DJ. Again, I've been in this business for 40 years, and I kind of am a semi-DJ,
right?
Depending on the day and how I'm feeling and if my mouth is working correctly.
Right.
But yes, but it is funny because, we're both from this town. So everything kind of overlaps sometimes.
It does. Yeah. I remember that and I remember them saying, it was a top 40 station that they were at, and there was a song, and it was the title of it was Bad Boys or something like that. And they're like,
Bad Boys, bad. Yeah, I remember that one.
And he's like, well, do you have a boyfriend? And I don't know that I did at that point in time. And he's like, okay. And it was like, this is for real bad boys or something crazy like that.
And of course you blushed.
I know, of course I did. I'm sure that's why he did it. But I think about that now, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, like wow, just how wild life is, because you just don't know.
You really don't know. But you know what? As I look back on when I first started and some of the things that happened to me, I don't think I could have done anything else, because both my brothers and everything went into business, and my mom and dad were factory workers. So they just knew 9 to 5 things, or they just knew hard work. And then I told them I wanted to, go into news, go into radio. It's like I was speaking, a different language to them. All I remember is seeing worried looks on their faces as I, packed my car and drove off to my first job in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I can only cried. And at that point, I'm from a Polish-Italian family, and I had a Polish last name. And as I'm driving with our friends to the news station, they bought a station in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. He said, you can't use your real last name because that's too ethnic down here.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, what am I going to say? So we're driving, and on the sign, I see Chicago, 365 miles. And I thought, well, okay, my name's going to be Miles. I'll probably just have it.
Really how I always wondered what really.
Mm-hmm. So I've been Deb Miles now for 30 years, 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
That is so cool. You know what? I've known you a really long time, and I never knew that story.
Well, I know, but I feel like at this point in my life, if I ever write a book or whatever, I just spew it all out, everything out that has happened, because you know what? That's what makes life interesting, to have things like this. And, to have something like that, thinking, okay, I'll just be known as Deb Miles for about a couple of years, and that's it. And now, look, it's all, even when I went to WGN in Chicago, I was Deborah Miles. I was doing news there. It just came with me the whole time.
But it fits. Like, I wouldn't know you as any, well, for me it does. For me, it does.
Because my dad was going, you have a good Polish name. I said, Dad, nothing against your name. You're taking this way too personally. This is how it happened.
That's right. Just think of me of getting married. I'm just giving my name to the radio instead of to a husband.
My mom goes, if that only could happen. I married late in life, even after she was gone. But anyway.
All right. So speaking of getting married, so I'm going to start calling you a homewrecker. Because you went to see Keith Urban in concert, and now he's getting a divorce.
If anybody knows anything about me, I am a Keith Urban fan. I've loved him for 20 years. I have loved him ever since he started. And the worst thing that has happened to me is I interviewed him once.
Did you really?
And I had him record saying, "This is B100, and I'm talking to Deb Miles. Hi, Deb." And I can't find it.
Oh,
it's recorded somewhere. I was going to play it today on the air, but I can't find this thing. But yes, what happened was Thursday night, I went with a bunch of friends, and this must have been like the 10th time I've seen Keith Urban. We went to Vegas a couple of years ago, saw him.
Is he just as good?
Yeah. Oh, this was even better.
Was it really? Okay.
It was 2 hours, and he did all his old songs, his new. It was great. What a performer he is. And, he seemed happy. But in my mind, now that I think about it, next day you hear about this, or over the weekend, that he and Nicole have separated, and now she's filed for divorce. Apparently he has another woman. He moved out like in June or July. They celebrated their 19th anniversary in June, but it probably wasn't really a celebration. Probably just them, going through the motions. But they're getting a divorce.
And so here's my question, right? And this is what I think about, right? I'm just a plain Jane the way that I look at it. I always have my hair and my makeup done, but like, if Nicole Kidman can't keep a man, like, I don't have a chance.
But, what's funny is women turn quickly. Because I told my best friend, I said, "Oh, did you hear about that? We went to the show Thursday night. Who knew?" She goes, "There's something weird about her."
Really?
I said, "Really?"
No, I wouldn't.
Well, her movies are kind, but that's not her.
Yeah.
Like the baby
she was
doll.
Married to, so here's the thing. You get...
Like, Tom Cruise. If you're married to Tom Cruise, there's something weird there too.
Right, but you look at that, right? So here it is, like, you've been divorced. Look at your divorce record, right? It's like your resume, right? Now you've been divorced from Tom Cruise, and you've been divorced from Keith Urban. Again, like, I've got nothing. I don't even know how you have a chance.
Well, I didn't either. Now that I'm thinking, I would have worn a different outfit. Because he came up on the side, and I thought to myself, you ever see the movie The Natural with Robert Redford?
Yes.
I just saw it recently because he passed.
Yes.
But how she stands up and she's got the white hat on and everything glows. He sees her in the crowd of thousands.
You should have worn a different outfit.
Right, exactly. Why am I wearing black and blue? I should have been wearing, orange.
Right.
I should look like a traffic cone.
Yeah.
But I
do wonder about that. Like, I think about that. She's got everything. She's beautiful. She has money. She's successful. All the things. And then you look at it and it's like, okay, like, in my mind, I'm like, what could have gone wrong? Like,
well, they don't have everything, though. Right. Even when they think they do, they always, people's minds, you don't know what goes on in their minds.
I agree.
Keith has often talked about how he came from his father was an alcoholic and was very abusive to him, and he stuttered. He had a stuttering problem. He had low self-esteem. He dropped out of school early. So you don't know what plays in their minds. Because, yeah, of course, you look at Nicole, you look at Keith, two beautiful people. They made two beautiful daughters.
Although I didn't like that she was always taller than him.
Well,
when you looked at him, it wasn't necessarily aesthetically pleasing. I don't know.
Well, she wore high heels too, but she was always taller than him.
Yeah, she was up. But even when she was in flats, she was always taller than him.
But he always had his hand on her butt in pictures. I've noticed.
I didn't look that close.
That's my job. Whatever he's doing, I know.
You know.
But yeah, seemed like he was happy, though he seemed a little emotional Thursday night in United Center in Chicago because he would like get down on one knee and sing and hold the mic out so we would sing back at him and we would sing the whole song and he would just sit there like and his eyes were glistening. He is so into his music and into his people. He is such a nice, so we think he's a nice guy. I'm sure he is, but he left. Right. He moved out on her, right. So I don't know what's going on. Like, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. No matter how big the house is, the door's hinged to, it doesn't mean that they're having a great life.
That's right. That's right.
I'm me living in my little hovel in Mishawaka. I am like the Keebler elf.
You have a great life.
But you just never know.
No, you don't. And that's just you. We really don't. You cannot, what they always say, right? You can't judge a book by its cover.
No.
Because you look at it from the outside, they had everything. 2 beautiful children, both successful careers. And then all of a sudden you hear this and it's like, what went wrong? Like,
he's worth like $80 million. She's worth $150 million or whatever.
Can you imagine the prenup on that marriage?
I hope they both had one.
I'm sure they did.
Because really, I see no difference between 80 million and 140. Because frankly, if I had 80 million, I'd be just as happy as if I had 140.
That's right. Exactly.
That might be stupid talk for you business people are listening. No, you can do this. No. I would be happy with 5 million.
Right.
But like I said, I live in a hovel. I have like a little elf. But it's just perception, and people. Money can't buy you happiness and all that other stuff that your mother used to say all the time. It's true. And if he has another woman already, I'm hoping that didn't cause the breakup. I'm hoping that they just grew. I'm just hoping. I'm
not quite sure where you. Yeah.
What I mean is,
explain that. Give that thought to me again.
What I mean is, I think they were already separated because they haven't been living together since June. So beginning of summer. So maybe he found her in July. I don't know.
It's only September.
Or maybe it's Chicago on the road.
Right.
In October or September.
Is it you?
I wish.
Are you the other woman?
No. Not, I don't want people to think I'm totally delusional. So I'm going to say no, and no to that. But I would like to think they just grew apart.
Maybe.
And then he moved. But he moved.
Well, she's our age.
She's moving to Portugal.
Oh, is he really?
She did. She filled out a residency.
Well, she's from
and
where?
Didn't put his name on it, so that was a red flag. But she's from Australia.
Okay, Australia.
She was born in Hawaii, but her parents are from Australia. And that's where they met. They met on Good Day LA, which was an Australian concept show, and that's where they met. And it's just so sweet. Unless he's relapsed. But I don't think so.
What relapsed with?
He was a cokehead and a drunk and a drinker for a long time. Oh, yeah. He came to the B100 birthday party in 2003, and we were backstage, and I wanted him to sign a guitar, and I had a Sharpie. He comes out with his glass of wine, and I said, would you sign that? So I handed it to him, and then I walked away because I seemed like I was a glommer.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, he goes, here, love. And he hit me in the head with the damn Sharpie. And I said, what's wrong with you? And I thought...
You said that to Keith Urban? What's wrong with you?
As he's walking.
He didn't pick you out.
But he didn't hear me. He didn't hear me. But I thought, who does that?
Yeah, right. I'm with you.
Who hits somebody in the head with a Sharpie and then doesn't even say sorry?
I'm with you. Yeah.
He probably went back on his bus and did what he had to do. But I don't know what he was doing. But from then on, I was smitten.
It was love at first hit.
I think I still have that Sharpie somewhere, probably.
What about the bump on your head?
Well, that's still there too, but that's probably, believe me, there's nothing endearing about that.
Well, it makes me sad. I'm a romantic.
Me too.
An endless romantic, and so it makes me sad that they can't work it out and that it's gotten to that point that it's just over. It makes me sad.
Yeah, and that he I don't want to say blame because really nobody's blaming, but that they're just asking for a marital dissolution or something like that. I don't. But she before it was just separation. Yesterday, today it was a divorce. It's a divorce.
Well, and I know that sometimes they do like irreconcilable differences. Where it's just that we just can't get along, and that's it.
But I don't get it. They were getting along so well, and maybe in my mind because on YouTube I watch a lot of his videos, and they have like videos of him and her. Like they were in the car singing The Fighter together and stuff like that. Oh, this is so sweet. I love this. And it's like, what happened?
But maybe that's the illusion that they wanted people to see, right? That they wanted to keep up appearances. You don't know. Like you said, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Well, they have a 14 and a 17-year-old, 2 daughters. And I just hope they're going to do co-parenting classes.
Oh, she's moving to Portugal.
Well, I don't know when that's going to happen. But she did apply for residency. So I don't know, probably after this divorce. But they both have money. He can fly wherever he has to.
Yeah.
But I do hope he keeps in touch with the girls, of course.
Yes, me too.
I hope that.
Because they're the ones that suffer through situations like this as a kids.
They do. But, again, you don't know what happened behind closed doors. But apparently who knew that Nicole and Keith would have a worse dating life than me? So he's already found somebody else, apparently, but, he's Keith Urban.
Well, if you had $140 million, too, you might be able to find somebody.
Would you tell somebody while you were dating how much money you would have?
No. And you know what? And I didn't. I'll tell you what, when I was dating, and I don't know about
you or how you do this.
That's okay. That's all right. I'm okay with it. We're friends. I didn't even put on my dating app on the app, I guess it was an app, that I was a widow. Because the way that I looked at it was that people would chase the money, that I was afraid that they would look at it like, oh, she's a widow. There must be life insurance there. Oh, I'm going to chase her down. So I didn't even, I just put single. I didn't even, and for a long time. And this is interesting. And I don't know, now I love it. You've got a divorce under your belt. So you really don't have to necessarily say that you're a widow. But I remember I thought that it would be really easy for somebody to date a widow because you don't ever have to worry about the ex coming back.
No, not unless you have a seance.
That's right. There's that. But they said that there were guys that said, I can't do this because I will constantly be compared to a ghost.
Oh, yeah. Especially, I've noticed that. Now, I'm doing this with a male perspective. A lot of men that I've known, a lot of men that I know that have gotten divorced, that have lost their wives, not divorced, they either will want somebody that looks like them. I told you that's the one guy I dated. I looked just like his dead wife.
Oh, that would creep me out.
And he want to do the same things like his ex-wife, like his wife. But it really creeped me out. But a lot of men like that. If they're married, especially 20, 30 years, they want to get remarried right away.
Well, you know what's so interesting? When you talk about that gentleman that you looked like his deceased wife, let's just say. But, I remember, I dated a guy before Tom and who looked nothing like Mike, tall, had a head full of hair, this and that. And I did that on purpose because it hurt too much.
Well,
I missed Mike. So I didn't want anybody that looked like Mike. I wanted somebody that looked completely opposite of Mike so that I wasn't reminded, that it was here. But I also found it was really interesting too. And I don't know, when you started dating after Rick passed, and that is that I remember saying to somebody once that me dating, the permanence of Mike's absence became much more apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he were still around, I wouldn't be dating. I wouldn't have been dating.
Exactly. And that's how I feel about me getting divorced. Because if Rick would have stayed alive, I wouldn't have gotten remarried.
Right.
And I waited 4 years, which probably isn't a lot, I guess. But
to start dating?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, we got married on the 4th year. So we probably maybe about 3 years. I just pushed. I don't know why I had to keep pushing. And everybody again said, and I should have known this, my best friend, as I'm getting married, she comes up to me. She goes, don't worry, I'll be here for the next one. Oh. What does that mean? And then she walks away and we're doing the wedding ceremony and she's like, what do you?
Right. What does that mean?
But she knows me. She knows that this made probably for good radio fodder to have Rocco. And even though he's a great guy, we're still friendly, but I should not have rushed into that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I just shouldn't have done.
But there are times where you don't think about it, right? You're like, oh, I think this will be good. And, I think sometimes too, for me, what I missed my person. I missed the companionship. And I my focus was my child. And so I waited 4 years to start dating, about 3.5, I guess, to really make sure that I could get Seth where he needed to be. But I think if anybody would ask me what I missed most about it was you just miss that person. You miss that person that's He's there for the good days. He's there for the bad days. He's there. And you've got girlfriends, but it's just not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just not the same.
Well, it just feels weird because yeah, I don't really mind being alone, but I do get lonely.
Sure.
So I don't know how to, because I like being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, but still I'm lonely. So there's got to be a way I can bridge those two emotions where I can find somebody who can say, yeah, you can do your stuff, I'll do mine, then we'll go out to dinner later. Or somebody like that could be added to my life, not to bring me, stress or anything. I mean, no relationship's perfect, but somebody who just adds something to my life.
When I started dating, and I remember saying that I knew what I wanted, and that was I wanted somebody to enhance my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized now that what I had with Mike was abnormal. So, Mike and I did everything together. We started Hello Gorgeous together, the salon. We started the salon together. We lived, eat, and breathed. And from the time Seth was 14 months old until when he passed, he didn't work outside the home. We worked everything together. And so, when you have that person that's there all the time. So then I meet Tom, who has another job with another company. And I'm like, okay, but if you get home at 5 and I don't get home until 6, and then I go to bed at like 9 or 10, I'm only seeing you for like 3 hours a day. And he's like, Kim, this is normal. He said, you don't understand normal. You've never had that because Mike and I, we worked his desk was across from mine.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one car. We only had one car.
No.
We hardly ever had, we bought a second car for Seth before he passed away. But other than that, I don't know in our entire life that we ever had 2 cars. We pretty much always had one car because we went there when Sethy was little. They'd take me to the salon. He'd take Seth to the daycare lady, and then he'd go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd reverse it because I worked really long days. So then he'd leave work, he'd go get Seth from daycare, and then they'd come back to the salon and pick me up. Well, it's just interesting. So I want you to be encouraged. There are people out there that will just love you for who you are and that they will be excited to just stand by the sidelines and encourage you and cheer you on. And they don't want you to change. And maybe they were in a marriage where they're used to the wife being gone, 7, 8, 9 hours a day.
Well, it's my job is very unique. And, you're in the public eye a lot too. So you got to really watch that when that happens. Because when you're in the public eye a lot of people form opinions of you, and they may not necessarily be true opinions of you, but they would be what they think. And I've had the whole thing, and I can tell from the first questions that people ask me. I try and be honest about it. I try to go the other way and say I'm in sales, I'm in marketing, but then I don't want to seem like I'm lying in case they hear me or whatever. So then I'll tell them what I do. Oh, well, somebody said I should have went into radio, or there's a whole other brand of discussions that you have that is nowhere resembling a coupling. Having a person there. This is just somebody that's either enamored by what you do,
right,
or what they think you do, or whatever. I mean,
and they want to get on your coattails.
Yeah.
So, and again, I was nervous about that too. being a business owner and a business leader, and again, then the whole widow thing. I was like, and the public speaking, and and I'm like you, like I'm in the public eye. I needed somebody that could behave, quote unquote, in public,
right? And they don't, and find somebody who's not going to want to overstep their boundary,
right,
or B, get very emotional about it and want to step aside or feel bad about themselves because of it.
Right.
I went on a date once, and they said, I really can't take this. I said, everybody knows you, or you have to watch yourself in public. He goes, and I can't do that. I like to get drunk and get crazy.
Well, and I'm glad you're telling me this now. Then I appreciate that. And it's funny. So we went to a little bar, a neighborhood bar, to watch the game on Saturday, and it was quiet in there. Like there was hardly anybody that was in there. And there was somebody that was sitting at the bar that recognized me from the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And they, Kim, I'm sorry to bother you on your personal time. And Tom's like, what personal time? She doesn't have any personal time. And,
right.
Just a fan telling me how much he enjoyed Melanie and I. And blah, 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 blah. But that was it. You know, I was so glad that Tom is, I try not to do that. Like, I don't go out of my way. Mm-hmm. He always says to me, don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. Well, I can't not make eye contact.
No,
because he's joking.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's for you and I, you know,
yes.
how we can't be rude.
No.
We have to acknowledge it. And we're both proud of what we do.
Absolutely.
We enjoy what we do. And it would be terrible if people did not recognize us, or usually it's me when I talk. Then they recognize me. But sometimes they just, like in the store, I was in the store, just a grocery store the other day, and over the weekend, and some lady and her daughter, little girl was there, and that's Deb Miles. And I said, yeah, how you doing? You know, and she goes, oh, you just want to be cordial, and you want them to say, because this is what I was thinking. You want them to say something positive right after they meet you and they walk away, right?
Right.
Say, oh, she was a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Oh, she was very nice.
That's
right. She looks, I don't even care if they say I look shorter or whatever. Why didn't they think? I had one man come up to me at a remote, and he says to me, he goes, you look nothing like your voice.
Oh, I got one for you. You know what I hear all the time? You're so much prettier in person than you are on TV.
Thank you, I think.
Really? I'm like, I thought that and again, that being said, like, I don't know about you, but I always hope that when people meet me, I'm the same. I'm the same person that you see on TV. I'm the same person that you see me with when I help a woman with cancer. I'm the same person that you see me at the grocery store. That it's just, I'm just authentic. I just want to be my authentic self.
You just to be you.
Yep.
And what that has meant for me, sometimes I screw things up.
Me too.
Or I say things wrong, or I'll say something. But you know what? That's normal.
That's right.
People do that.
That's right.
And there are some people that if I say something on the air and it's not accurate, or I mispronounced it, right away, that's not how you say it. And I thought, okay, fine. You know, how should I say it? And I say, thank you for that. But you know, you just got to realize that people are all different and their perceptions of you are going to be different.
That's right.
I don't want to have to worry about the person I'm with.
Yes.
All of the time about having to explain stuff and how I want them to have my back.
And you will, and you'll find that, because it takes a special person. And I say that to Tom all the time. I'm like, you are just a gem to me because of the fact that we do get stopped. You know, people will say stuff. And like I said, I really appreciated, his name was Johnny, at the bar the other day. You know, he's like, I'm sorry to bother you on personal time. And then the lady next to him was a breast cancer survivor. And so she's like, I love what you do with Hello Gorgeous. And I love those stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, you do too. Like, that's the one thing that you enjoy when you're out in public, is you love to hear, you know, I've been listening to you for 20 years. Mm-hmm. I remember when you were just starting out, blah, 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 blah. I love that stuff.
I love the fact, especially now, because I'll be here 25 years at this station, and people come up to me. The kids I used to record doing Pledge of Allegiance in school are now in college.
Wow.
Or they now have little kids in themselves, and they'll come up to me. Your voice makes me feel so at home.
Yes.
And when they say that, I don't view it as being old or feeling old. I view it as a badge of courage, a badge of you know, being positive and being local and being part of the community. That's how I feel about it.
I love that. What a great compliment.
Right. I love that. When they come up and say, I've been listening to you, my granddaughter now, and she listens, and it's like, great.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And it will take a special person. And what I appreciate about you is that you're not willing to cower down and make yourself less of who you are.
I've done that in the past.
Me too. And I won't ever, I don't have any tattoos. Do you have a tattoo? I
have one, and it's funny. It's my dad. My dad and I, my dad was my buddy. We'd always watch sporting things and always the Cubs. And Cubs are always usually bad. And we would be watching it. And my friend got a tattoo, and I said, I want to get a tattoo. He goes, you cannot get a tattoo. The only time you get a tattoo is if the Cubs win the World Series, and then you put my initials on. I said, well, that's not going to happen. That's going to well, come to 2016.
And they did.
Yes. So I did get it for him. It's on YouTube, by the way. I had it. It was for the morning show promotion. And I had it, and it's there. I don't see it because I really don't.
But you got it.
But it says, Chicago Cubs World Series, the year, and my dad's initials.
So I don't have any. I think I'm a rarity right now that I don't have any. Yeah. But, I allowed that one relationship that I had in between Mike and Tom to steal my joy, to try and become something that I really wasn't. And I thought if I ever get a tattoo, it'll be on my wrist and it'll be the word joy, because I don't ever, ever, ever want to lose that ever again.
Never. Joy is something that will be with you from when you're younger till you're gone.
That's right.
Till you take your last breath, because if you don't have joy in your life, there's not much else, is there?
That's right. I agree.
And that's why we are all the month of October. It's Teas for TaTas. We are starting, and I know it's a local thing, but Teas for TaTas for
So
Hello
exciting.
Gorgeous.
That's
I'm
right.
excited too. The shirt is great. We're kicking that off, and we're going to be kicking that off later in a separate interview. But I just want to say I am so glad to work with you.
I love the month of October because I get to see you all the time.
Well, and next time maybe we can watch a game together, because I watched the game by myself over the weekend.
Oh my gosh. We would love that. We love to go out to like a bar.
Yes.
I don't necessarily like to watch it at home. I mean, it's okay, but when you're in the crowd with other Notre Dame fans, it's huge. Okay,
I love it.
We'd love that.
I would love to do that.
All right, good.
So we're going to be I'll be doing that. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which means get your mammograms. Make sure early detection is so important.
Do your self breast exams too, to make sure that everything is good.
And there are more and more survivors of breast cancer now. So don't be afraid. You get that mammogram. Maybe you have to go back for an MRI or something else. Don't be afraid. There are people that'll help you. There are people that will be by your side. And if you're lucky enough, you want to reach out to Hello Gorgeous.
That's right.
Where can they find Hello Gorgeous?
HelloGorgeous.org.
All right, there you go. I am Deb Miles. You can reach me at deb@b100.com or on Instagram, deb5291. And Kim, where can they get you?
They can see the website. You can email me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org. My Instagram is Kim Becker Inspires. And I would love to hear from you.
All right, I'm going to go get some pumpkin spice because I refuse to get it any earlier than October.
And it's soon. It's tomorrow.
So enjoy your month of October. We will be back in November, and we'll be in holiday gear.
Yes, we
and
will.
ready to go.
Yes, we will. We so will be.
Have a wonderful month of October. And if you listen to this podcast and you like this podcast, please tell others about it and share it. If you have any information, make sure you get it to us. We'd love to hear about you and what you think about the podcast.
That's right. And we'll be back next month with
Unfiltered Brew.